Hi, my name's Jeremy.
Hi, I'm CJ.
Welcome to our podcast, Collecting International Pastime.
Um, yeah, so uh this is our very first episode, so we wanted to do a little bit about us, what we do in terms of personal collection, and then our takes on the hobby. And
And
week by week, sorry,
go ahead. Sorry.
week by week we will showcase different news that comes from the hobby, whether it's upcoming releases or new information to grading.
For sure. And also, we're also going to be talking about um sales, big sales in the hobby, and also just important things to talk about and what the hobby means to us. So, yeah, let's talk about how we met. Um I'll go first. My sophomore year, CJ's junior year, we had of college, we had a math class together with the weirdest professor ever. Wore a Hawaiian shirt every day. Kind of a weirdo, I could say. And we might have been in a group together. We started chatting about sports, and then I found out you're a collector of sports cards later on.
Yeah. And then after that math class ended, we still kept in touch until I graduated in 2023 and then kept in touch after that as when I started grad school. And we have been talking about everything when it comes to like grading, especially, recently with the sale of SGC to PSA and then new products to come out like Topps flagship and then other Topps products like Finest, Museum Collection, Pristine, and so on.
Yeah, also my junior year of college, spring semester, I took a advanced news reporting class, and for my final project, I wrote an article, a long form article about issues within the sports card hobby. And CJ was one of the people I interviewed for it. And he was just really interesting to talk to, super interesting perspectives, and gave a lot of great input on um, paper and in the interview.
Yeah, a little bit of background in terms of my collecting backstory. I started when I was very, very young with my dad. Um, with how I put my dad's collecting style that kind of rubbed off onto me a little bit is it's kind of one of the dying forms of collection, as I would put it, as he still builds sets for certain products. Like we just finished our Series 2 set, and we have about 40 cards short of this year's Topps Chrome. And uh we try to help out other people that are building sets as well, and then as long with individual cards that we may want.
Yeah, so similar to CJ, I also got into collecting because of my dad. My dad collected very much in the 70s and 80s, and he also got cards passed down to him from the 60s and 50s passed down to him from older family members, and my dad still had them. Now I have them. My grandma was too lazy to go upstairs and throw away his cards, like what was common for that era when my dad went out to college. So I'm very grateful to my grandma for that. And I collect a lot of the newer stuff, but I also have an affinity for older stuff, as I know CJ does also. But like newer stuff, it's like overly mass produced. So that's why you want to like niche it down, collect numbered stuff, which you could get for cheaper. And, mostly I got into it because of my dad, but I do a lot of breaks, which I probably shouldn't do so often because it's like a huge gamble. And I break with certain people, a few people, and I enjoy talking to them, so I want to support them. CJ, what is your opinions on breaking?
Um, More power to them. I mean, it's not my sort of forte, so I kind of tend to stay away from it, but I know people that obviously, participate in breaks, but then I also know people that do and create the breaks and everything. So, I mean, like I said, more power to them. It's great. It's a great way to spread the hobby and everything and get your certain teams and certain players that you collect, but it's just not my cup of tea, as I would put it.
So, also another question I have, which I completely agree with, it's not everyone's cup of tea. You see all these big hits come from the same several breakers for the most part. One of the breakers that I break with, I'm not going to name him, used to break with a much larger company, and basically they let him go because he's not located near the place. And they would have let him stay if he would have moved, but he has a job. He told me in one of his breaks that he knows for a fact, or he's pretty sure that certain cases have certain serial codes on them for that signify big hits and whatnot. Do you think there's a conspiracy about that? Do you think there's any truth to it that the big hits come from the biggest breakers, especially if they have connection to Fanatics, Tops, or Panini and stuff like that?
Um, that's definitely a thought when I first started to see those sorts of hits comes from, big time breakers, but then also you have to consider they buy a lot of cases from these companies to where
I
they have a
agree.
much higher chance of hitting these sought after cards like I want to say it was 1 or 2 years ago, the triple logo man that had like LeBron on it and everything, that was so sought after. And one of the bigger break companies that I will not name uh pulled it. So it's you got to look at it from both sides of the coin to where it's like, yes, there could be a conspiracy that they have a connection with the company, but then they also buy so much that they have that close relationship in the first place.
Yeah, so we both mainly collect baseball, but a question for you about the basketball. Weren't people saying that it was gonna be worth like 20 to 30 million dollars, the most expensive card ever?
That's going to be really, really hard to beat, especially
People
with,
were saying that. Then a few months later, SGC 9.552 Mantle sold for $12.6 million. The triple logo man probably sold for 2 or 3 million, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah,
it's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but people saying it was going to be the most expensive card ever.
you honestly took the words right out of my mouth. When it comes to the value of like some of like the most sought after cards on the planet, a lot of them are considered vintage, like the 52 Mantle, the T206 Honus Wagner, the Babe Ruth Gowdy, and then when you go to basketball, you have guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the 80 the 85 Jordan rookie that everyone
86
loved, 80,
clear.
yeah, that everyone freaking wants. You have the 96-97 season when you have guys like Kobe and Iverson. Um,
But I
and then
wouldn't consider those vintage.
yeah, I mean, not a lot of people do, but then some people do because those even the 96-97 cards like the Kobe rookies, you gotta look at they're almost 30 years old. They're starting to get into that threshold of being considered vintage, even though some of them are so, so nice looking that they're not in most people's eyes.
Yeah, and we could talk more about buying into hype in a later episode, but let's just show some of our cards that we collect and what we enjoy collecting regardless of value. And yeah, you want to go first and show a few?
Yeah, so I'm a Boston New England fan across all sports. Um, I have a plethora of stuff, more so baseball than football and basketball because of how the market's been recently, but some of the cards that I pulled out, I have a 1958 Ted Williams SGC 1. I have a 2014 Bowman Prospects Mookie Paper PSA 10. And I actually picked this up recently, a 2000 Pacific Crown Royal Tom Brady rookie. And then, as Jeremy said, I collect a lot of and that's the history background that I get from my college days. And I have a 1888 Allen Ginter
It's
mini flag.
blurry.
Yeah, there we go. I'm sorry, the background's weird. But yeah, it's a card that showcases the flag of London, and the card was made in 1888. And you found those in cigarette packs.
So I'll break my stuff up into a few categories. I have a lot of my dad's older cards, like it said, from older family members. So I have some mantles. I have a where is there we go. PSA 168, PSA 463, PSA 1 crappy condition, 57, PSA 3 mantle, 62. Then also I have some Dodgers stuff. The first card in first ever top set card number 1, Andy Pafko, PSA 2. Pretty interesting card. I have some Jackie, Sandy Koufax rookie, SGC 4. Um, One of the current all-time greats, Kershaw, Bowman Sterling, SG BGS 9, and I then one more set of cards I'm going to show off is this is a near complete set of the gold out of 2018 Dodgers. I have two more coming. I no one more coming, and I need two more to complete the set after that. So yeah, that's some of what we collect. A lot of what I collect is Dodgers, but also like a lot of the older cards I were showing you, my dad just happened to have. And my dad and I are working on getting a lot of the Koufaxes and, just building up that collection also.
Yeah, a lot of the cards I find I either get in the hobby boxes that my dad and I open, or we go to around to local card shows and pick up singles. Um, it's like reflecting on that and then the cards that I have, it's really insane with the amount of luck that I have and the amount of stuff I have. But um another set that I didn't showcase on here, but I know I have and that my dad has is the 2018 complete top silver pack set. One, two, and series one, two, and update. All all four of the big rookies, and then it's just a complete set, and it's been sealed pretty much since 2018. Like I have both
And on
Otanis.
what it's worth.
I can't put a number on it right now because I haven't looked it up recently, but it's probably
That would be
probably
the 83 design.
yeah, it's probably gonna be closer to like the 750 or more dollar value because it has both Otani rookies, it has the Acuna rookie and the Soto. And then even then you got to think of like outside of those, you have rookies like Rafael Devers in there as well.
I'm sure Bueller's in there. Glaber. 2018 is a good set.
Yeah.
Um, so something I wanna talk. So we're going to talk about personal takes on the hobby. With everything going on right now, prices are going up. It's
Yeah.
been ridiculous. Especially at boxes. And then as more product gets open, especially of the hobby versions, you see team spots and breaks increasing, player spots and breaks increasing. But even if you're not going to get anything, but also you have 40 freaking dollar Topps Chrome blaster boxes, which I haven't been to a Target or Walmart in a while, or Target because I don't go to Walmart, but what are your thoughts on a $40 Chrome blast? Because just a few years ago, all blasters across the board were 20. Now you can't find one for less than 30, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely gotta pick and choose which ones you do. And especially for me and the blasters and everything that I'm buying myself. Um, Now that I'm an adult and out of undergrad, I have to, you know, be very, very selective because of how expensive it is. And even going to like the hobby box part of it, I would be at a local card shop and I'd be opening a product, and then I'd literally see them increase the price because the market value went up as I'm sitting there and opening it. So it's kind of crazy to see how fast prices can change in the span
And
of
and single prices don't keep up with it.
nope. Like,
If they're high number or low numbered, it's
well, it's very player selective, and the player selection is just getting shorter and shorter with each year in terms of, um uh demand. Like 2023, especially with Bowman, it was all Jackson Holiday. Now it's all like Dylan Cruz and Paul Skeens.
exactly. And people forget about the last year's big rookies. And also, when a player gets called up a few weeks later, the hype has died down.
Yep.
And if a player
Like,
comes out of nowhere, then their cards shoot up in price.
yeah, and then another difficult thing is like some of these players they were drafted so late. Like for example, Ben Rice of the New York Yankees, he was a 12th rounder, didn't really have any cards, no Bowman, no nothing until 2024 Donruss baseball came out. Yes, it's unlicensed, but he his only autograph is in that product.
And same thing with Kike Hernandez. I'm trying to get an autograph card, doesn't matter the year or team they appear on in every set. On no, sorry, on the World Series roster for the Dodgers in 2020. Yes, I know it's a Mickey Mouse ring, as people might say, but it's in some cases it made it harder to win because of all the adversities. But anywho, like Kike Hernandez is one of the players I still need. He has one autograph card, and it is a rookie Donruss autograph. And like I have never seen one since. I don't think he's ever been in like Topps Archive signature series. For Kenley Jansen, he never had a single one. So he had to buy one that was signed in person and do a Beckett quick review or whatever. So it's tricky, and supply and demand dictates the market.
Yeah, and then if with the MLB draft being in July around All-Star weekend, sometime and a player for your favorite team got drafted that you followed in college or in high school or whatever, it's so difficult to get a card of that player unless an autograph of that player unless it's in person.
That's very true. But something I also wanted to discuss with you in regards to the $40 blasters increasing, like Bowman Megas are probably going to be $60 or $55 next year. Do you think this is a kid's hobby, or do you think, because at some point parents who might not know too much about cards, like mothers, might not buy a $40 Bowman Mega Box for their kids, or heck, even a 35 or $30 blaster box for their kids because of like, and the kids Like, do you see what I'm saying? It's gonna be hard for kids to get in it, either for their parents to spend it or not see the value in it. So,
Well, that's the weird thing. Like, yes, the hobby is so expensive, but then the card shows that I set up at, I see so many younger kids there that
no. But I'm
it
talking about buying wax.
well still it's like they'll buy the wax and then they'll have the cards and then they'll walk around and try to sell it. But it's yeah, it's definitely getting to the point to where it's almost, unless you have like a steady income or a parent that is very, very willing to spend that kind of money, it's almost impossible.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And even a Bowman hobby box is ridiculously expensive when it first comes out for one auto and it probably goes up in price. Actually, I'm gonna look up what a hobby box of of Topps Chrome is going for right now.
I was
Because
at
for one auto, like I've seen a lot of hobby being open and it is pretty good, but I bet it's like let me look
the ones that I'm getting from my local card shop, I've been getting for 225.
225. Let me
And I think normally on the Topps website they're 200.
uh like Bowman HTA from this year is $500 for three cards. Like,
Yeah.
what if you get all three base autos? Even
That's
if a cruise autograph was one of them, you wouldn't get your money back for $500, I don't think.
That's the thing that you have to look at. Like, yes, like you mentioned earlier, breaks are a gamble, but even just buying straight up hobby boxes and opening it yourself is such a gamble.
Yeah, so on Steel City, it is about 225. What are jumbos? They're not available,
Jumbos I've seen close to 500,
which is ridiculous. It made sense with five autographs, but
but there's only three.
there used to be five, and I am not seeing HTA.
Tops usually
No,
does.
sorry, Breaker's Delight, Breaker's Delight.
Yeah, I was going to say Tops has started doing Breakers Delight. I think it was last year.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Breaker's Delight? Because there's always a bad connotation with Breakers. They always have the good hits, it seems. Do you think they should just call it HTA? Do you think that would settle it? Because jumbo boxes are called HTA because they have more hits. Why can't they call Breaker's Delight? Or are they calling it that because it's all the stuff and no fluff?
Yeah, and it's usually because of the content within it, because breakers usually skip all the base and they go straight for the rookies and inserts and hits. And even then, sometimes they'll just skip the inserts, and that is just the name of the game as I see it. And Topps is kind of capitalizing on that. So props to them for that. I mean, when you look at everything in the from the eyes of like Topps and everything, it's not just like uh the new edition of the hobby. It's the money aspect as well. And with that, they can push out more product to places to where it'll reach a much larger audience than just the jumbo and the hobby.
Yeah, so you want to talk about like your our favorite products? Let's
Yeah. So since I do baseball, basketball, and football, baseball, I love Topps Chrome. I love Topps Finest. Um, when it comes to football and basketball, it is very, very expensive, but in terms of like favorite players and everything, when I'm trying to get like singles for my PC, I love Select, I love Prism and Optic. But then when I'm going for vintage, it's a lot of uh for basketball, it's a lot of Upper Deck and Fleer. And then Tops is just, even though not a lot of people remember it, Tops used to be in the football and basketball game
of
when it
course.
came to uh the NBA and the NFL. Like believe it was 2014 or 15 that Topps stopped doing football, I believe.
Yeah.
And
2009 for basketball.
yeah. And then for baseball, there are some Panini products that I like to open like Donruss because you see a lot more different legends. You see a lot of the prospects, and then some of the Panini inserts that people love from football and basketball are in these Panini baseball products.
Hmm.
So, but
Uh, go
sorry.
ahead.
But yeah, that's just me. Like, I'm not necessarily worried about if it's unlicensed or not. I'm more worried about is it, aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, so something I like to collect, again, collect what you love, but I love Finest. I love Topps Chrome, Bowman. I've had a lot of luck with Bowman retail. And I don't open up too many hobby boxes. Stadium Club is a huge thing for me, even though the checklist is so autograph checklist is so big. So you're not necessarily gonna pull a great autograph. I never have at least one. I've only opened one hobby, but I love photography. Photography is a huge hobby of mine. Great, great photography, but not so
Uh,
many parallels.
so building on Topps Finest, did you open any of the Finest flashback that came out last year?
No, I did not. I think I got into breaks of the hobby boxes.
Yeah. So the one
Regular Topps Finest.
so the one thing I like that Topps does is they'll have a reference or a certain uh card subset that's throwbacks to older sets. Like every year with Topps flagship, a they'll showcase the design from 35 years ago. And with Topps Finest Flashback, they did designs that were really popular in the 90s, which was really nice to see.
But you know, I think we should also talk about upcoming releases just to move along with it.
Um, yeah, so all this information is coming from the Beckett release calendar. So if you want any more information, I would refer to that. But within August, the two big things coming from Topps are Topps Finest on the 17th, and then uh, I forget the date off the top of my head, but Museum Collection also comes out in August. And those are really two big sets for Topps that come out every year. Finest is a lot of bright colors and for the inserts and the base, and the Museum Collection has a lot of the inserts and autographs of players that are very sought after.
Yeah, so I took some notes about Finest and Museum Collection. Skeens is not in Finest this year, or at least in the base that are given autograph checklist that's sent out. However, they are bringing back Mystery Redemption, so it's very likely that he could be in it. All the big autographs are in it of rookies other than skins like Yamamoto, Jackson Holiday, Jackson Merrill, Shurio, I think, Caminero, Pico Armstrong, Laneberg, Heskin Kursat, Ellie is a big one, Junghoo Lee, Cowser, many Hall of Fame autos, such as Derek Jeter, Johnny Bench, Nolan Ryan, Ozzie Smith, Sandy Koufax, who rarely signs, by the way, is a very expensive autograph in general. So those prices will be insane, and they are taking a book out of Panini's Select Playbook with common, rare, and uncommon cards, which are more clear than the different levels of Select, at least to me.
Yeah, because with Select they have like Concourse, Field, Premier, and trying to translate that over the baseball, it's kind of hard to a little bit because with football stadiums and basketball arenas, yes, one's indoor, one's outdoor, but they're still relatively built the same, where you have like a rectangular court or field at the center, then you have the sideline and everything, and then outside of that you have the stands and the concourse and everything. But with baseball, you have like the dugout, you have the backstop area behind home plate, you have the outfield. So it's
But it's
so
not clear which one is the rare, which one is not.
right. And uh that's great on Top's end that they made it much more clear in terms of okay,
And the rare is only one in every three packs. So
yeah.
it is very pretty easy to get some rare cards.
And I believe
Now, sorry, go
per I believe per mini box of finest you only get like 6 packs per mini box.
ahead. But also Museum Collection, which is a hit-driven product, thicker card stock, which doesn't always grade well, but is a very good for high-end collectors who want a high risk, high reward. No Tawny autographs in Museum Collection or in Finest from what I saw, which I thought was interesting. Maybe he was charging too much per autograph. Hall of Fame autos are to the moon in this.
Yeah, a lot with museum collection, it's not necessarily driven by like the current players and the rookies, but it's a lot more so driven by, the retirees and the Hall of Famers in terms of autographs and hits and everything like that. Like, I believe you can get cut autographs in museum collection as well.
Rector, I saw Honus Wagner. I forget who else. Uncut checklist. We only have
Yeah,
a few minutes left, so I just wanted to make a few more connections. Sticker cards won't hold long-term value from what we've seen in this. Usually people value the Topps Chrome Bowman first. That's debated on which is will hold more long-term value. I did see, however, Skeens does have a base card in this set, and you're going to be chasing his base card along with numbered parallels, but no autographs or no relics, of course, because he just got called up. That brings into question that how much do you think a Skeens rookie card, the first sale will be of a raw for base? I'm thinking at least $200.
I wouldn't necessarily go that high. I'd probably go just slightly below 100 because you got to think with how the market is. Like, it's just a base card. It's not a numbered parallel or anything like
Right,
that.
the first Wander base card PSA 10 from 2022 Tops, I think sold for $2,000.
Yeah, we all know how Wander turned out.
But anywho, it's gonna be ridiculous. His parallel prices will be to the moon. Even his base,
Oh yeah.
you'd be happy to get a base because in some cases, a base skin might be worth more. You could get more for it than your relic or possibly even your auto, depending on who it is.
Well, to put food for thought, in 2024 Donruss, a Skeens relic is going unnumbered is going for about $50 for an unlicensed product.
And I don't trust Panini's relics. Like, that's just me personally.
Yeah, but uh anyways, that's our very first episode. Thank you for
Yeah,
tuning in. And
we'll be back soon, and we will enjoy bringing you guys content in the future.
yeah. But yeah, again, thank you and have a good one, guys. Keep on collecting.
Yep, bye.